New evidence raising serious questions about the IRS targeting scandal. Now there's an email blowing apart the president's claim, proving the scandal was not simply the result of mistakes by, quote, boneheaded bureaucrats. And look who's on the address list. Lois Lerner, the IRS official at the heart of the scandal, who pleaded the fifth and refused to testify about the targeting. Cleta Mitchell is an attorney representing many of the Tea Party groups singled out by the IRS for special attention.
The IRS scandal is real. It's not pretend, it's real. Number two, the IRS scandal is not just a boneheaded bunch of bureaucrats in some remote office, contrary to what the President of the United States told the American people on Sunday. And number three, the IRS scandal is not over. It is continuing to this day, and the Department of Justice investigation is a sham.
Joining us now, another witness at today's hearing, Jay Sekulow, Executive Director of the American Center for Law and Justice, who represents 41 groups targeted by the IRS. Great to see you, Jay.
Good to see you, Gretchen.
What was your main point as you testified today?
Well, it was interesting because we had prepared testimony that we submitted to the committee focusing on the fact that the IRS was engaged in this acknowledged unconstitutional targeting. But when the emails that you referred to earlier came out yesterday through Ways and Means Committee, I redid my testimony last night, and in the oral presentation I made today to Congress, I focused on the fact that what the president said was incorrect. When the president said there was not any evidence, not a smidgen of evidence of corruption or wrongdoing, we now have an email, not only to Lois Lerner, she's certainly high-ranking, but to 5 members, senior members, associate chief counsel, deputy chief counsel of the IRS, where they talked about rewriting these rules 2 years ago, a year before the scandal broke. So they had this, and they were doing this, by the way, Gretchen, what they called off-plan,
right,
so that it wouldn't come up in public comments.
So are you to assume that when they called it off-plan, that meant hidden from the general public?
Well, that's what off-plan means. They didn't want it out there public. Look, I worked for the Office of Chief Counsel of the IRS a long time ago when I got out of law school, and there's public calendars, and they kept this off the public calendar for exactly that reason. But look, this whole argument that it was 2 rogue agents and the president saying it was, these bureaucrats making these mistakes, this was from the very highest ranks of the IRS. And I think what Congress needs to do is now appoint a special prosecutor to look at both the criminal implications, but we also now need to hear from the IRS chief counsel since his senior people were involved.
I know you've been calling for that, Jay, but let me ask you a couple quick questions. Have any of your 41 clients been interviewed by the FBI, who supposedly is investigating this?
We received a call at the end of December saying that they wanted to interview our clients in January. In January, we got the call. The very next day, before we could even respond, they announced to the Wall Street Journal that the criminal investigation was not going anywhere. It was closed. And then you had the whole issue of the lawyer from the Department of Justice being a donor to the Obama administration, or the Obama campaign, actually. Right. And at this point, there's been no interviews, and I'm not so sure there's going to be.
Do you believe that report that the FBI could possibly say that this investigation will not involve criminal charges since they only asked to interview 1 of your clients? Do you believe that?
Yeah, they asked to interview 3 of the 41. But the answer is no. You cannot have a criminal investigation closed before you've gone to the victims. And not just our clients, for that matter. It should be others. So this is the IRS and the Department of Justice just biding time, hoping it goes away. But what happens is every day new information comes out.
Wow. Jay Sekulow, we appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Gretchen.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.